Tensions between United States and Iran have shaped global politics for decades, rooted in events that transformed both nations. The relationship was not always hostile. In the early 20th century, diplomatic and economic ties existed, but the turning point came in 1953 when a coup backed by American and British intelligence agencies removed Iran's Prime Minister, Mohammad Mossadegh. This intervention strengthened the rule of Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, whose pro-Western policies were welcomed in Washington but criticized by many Iranians. The memory of foreign interference planted seeds of distrust that would grow dramatically in the years ahead. The most dramatic rupture came in 1979 during the Iranian Revolution. Massive protests led to the overthrow of the Shah and the rise of Ruhollah Khomeini. Soon after, Iranian students stormed the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, taking American diplomats hostage for 444 days. The hostage crisis shocked the American public and reshaped U.S. foreign policy in the Middle East. Diplomatic relations were severed, sanctions were imposed, and hostility between the two governments became entrenched in both political rhetoric and military planning. Throughout the 1980s, tensions deepened during the Iran-Iraq War. While officially neutral, the United States provided support to Iraq, viewing revolutionary Iran as a destabilizing force in the region. Naval confrontations occurred in the Persian Gulf, and in 1988, the USS Vincennes shot down Iran Air Flight 655, killing 290 civilians. The incident intensified anti-American sentiment in Iran and further damaged any possibility of reconciliation at that time. In the decades that followed, disputes increasingly focused on Iran's nuclear ambitions. American leaders expressed concern that Iran's nuclear program could lead to weapons development, while Iranian officials insisted their program was for peaceful energy purposes. This standoff resulted in escalating economic sanctions, cyber operations, and diplomatic negotiations. The issue became a central point of contention not only between the two countries, but also among global powers seeking stability in the Middle East. A significant diplomatic breakthrough occurred in 2015 with the signing of the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action under U.S. President Barack Obama. The agreement limited Iran's nuclear activities in exchange for sanctions relief. However, in 2018, President Donald Trump withdrew the United States from the deal, arguing it was insufficient. This decision reignited tensions, leading to renewed sanctions and a cycle of retaliatory actions that increased fears of direct military confrontation. In January 2020, tensions reached a dangerous peak when a U.S. drone strike ordered by President Trump killed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani in Baghdad. Soleimani was a powerful figure within Iran's military structure, and his death triggered massive public mourning in Iran and threats of retaliation. Iran responded with missile strikes on U.S. bases in Iraq, and the world watched anxiously as both sides signaled readiness for further escalation. Although full-scale war was avoided, the incident underscored how quickly events could spiral out of control. Beyond direct confrontation, both countries have engaged in indirect conflict through regional alliances and proxy forces. Iran has supported groups in Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, and Yemen, while the United States has strengthened partnerships with Israel and Gulf Arab states. This regional rivalry has fueled instability across the Middle East, making the U.S.-Iran relationship a key factor in broader geopolitical calculations involving Russia, China, and European powers. Economic pressure has been one of Washington's primary tools against Tehran. Sanctions have targeted Iran's oil exports, banking sector, and access to international markets. These measures have significantly impacted Iran's economy, leading to inflation, unemployment, and domestic unrest. Iranian leaders argue that sanctions amount to economic warfare, while American officials view them as leverage to influence Iran's policies without resorting to armed conflict. Public opinion in both nations adds another layer of complexity. Many Americans and Iranians express curiosity and cultural interest in each other, even as political leaders exchange sharp rhetoric. Generations have grown up shaped by narratives of suspicion and rivalry, yet there are also voices advocating diplomacy, dialogue, and gradual normalization. Social media and global communication have created limited but meaningful spaces for cross-cultural understanding, despite official hostility. Today, the possibility of direct war between the United States and Iran remains a subject of global concern. Military capabilities on both sides are substantial, and any major clash could disrupt energy markets, destabilize neighboring countries, and draw in international powers. At the same time, history shows repeated moments when diplomacy has prevented open warfare. The future of U.S.-Iran relations depends on leadership choices, regional developments, and the willingness of both nations to move beyond decades of mistrust toward a more stable and predictable relationship.